Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Book Club. This is Kimberly King. We're going to be talking about chapters 5 and 6 today. So I am really excited to be here today because I am just back from the Envision conference that was held at Johns Hopkins Center for Public Health in DC. I went with a bunch of my body safety educator, authors, and friends. And so I'm really excited to talk about chapter 5 and 6, and I'm going to be bringing on a guest shortly, Diane Tarantini. So in the body safety book, in chapters 5 and 6, we talk about, is this normal? And then we also talk about how to create a safety circle at home and at school. And I wanted Diane to come in because she is a fellow author in the space and has some really great tips about how to create safety at home in regards to preventing sibling sexual abuse. So I want to get to that first because she is in the waiting room. Hold on one sec. Hello, Diane. Let's see. Hi.
Hey.
How are you?
Good.
Good. So
I just answer what you say?
Yeah,
Okay.
I was updating our book club folks. I'm talking about chapter 5 and 6 today for book club. And in chapter 6, because I have you here and you're the expert on this, I wanted to, and I didn't interview you for this book because this was before I met you.
No, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, in the book, I interviewed Jane Epstein, and she gave me some tips about, the statistics of child-to-child sexual abuse and sibling sexual abuse and ways to prevent it. And I gave a few tips in the book. And I was wondering if you would want to add to the ones that are in there. It's on page 79.
I don't have my book here. Do you want me to go get it?
Oh no, that's okay. So
Okay.
I'll read what I have. So we talked about like how common it is and mostly never reported. And she gave some tips, and then I added some things about keeping doors open,
Yeah.
monitoring kids, keeping siblings in their own beds when possible.
Yeah.
Talking about body safety and privacy, reviewing consent, and keeping communication open in a nutshell. But what would you have to add? Because you just published can you show your books and
Yeah.
your memoir?
Wow.
Okay,
Yeah.
so The Brave Knight and Everyone Was.
This is a proof copy. Let me get a clean copy.
Okay. And if anybody has any questions after they watch this, you can email me at kimberlykingbooks@gmail.com.
Okay. Okay, so bathing, naked. Okay. Family code of conduct. Conduct. Physical, emotional, bullying. What is a acceptable, like in the research, in the literature, it's often shown that either the victim or the person causing harm will have a diagnosis of some sort. How should I say that well, that's not offensive?
That is a good question. I don't know.
I don't know if neurodivergent is the right word.
No, so yeah, I don't know.
But I could give examples like, for instance, if someone
Yeah, give
has
examples in
autism
general.
spectrum disorder, if someone
Yeah.
has been diagnosed with bipolar, if you have a learning disabled child, can you say that?
Yeah.
If they don't comprehend body safety boundaries, either of them, it can
Yeah.
be a problem.
Yes. Okay. So that's 100%. And I've read that in the research, and I've seen that a lot, like communication disorders or
Yes.
like the ability not to really understand or follow boundaries can be risky and not intentional. Just, maybe
Right.
you just don't understand it when we're young. So it's really important to double down on those
Yeah, and then
safety
it leads to
strategies.
not, it can lead to the victim not reporting because they
Yeah.
don't understand.
Yeah.
Um,
And they don't have the
so,
words.
um, what I would add would be, even though it's like a lot of parents' joys, like bath time together, um, I would not continue. You could maybe tell me the age that shouldn't continue beyond. Just like naked in the house,
Yeah.
same thing. There should be a age cap to both bathing together
Yeah.
and running around naked. Even though we know it's so much fun to potty train a boy, just no britches, or a girl, no britches. It's so effective.
It
But
is.
yeah, and then family code of conduct. A lot of times, and I think we heard it this weekend, we assume kids know right from wrong in
Right.
all circumstances. They know, we assume they know that brothers and sisters shouldn't be touching. They don't know.
They don't know. Yeah. Which
They
is
don't
like,
necessarily know. If they decide to play doctor and it's with a sister, like there is a level where that's even more improper than like Johnny down the street at the park. Like it's all frightening to me.
yeah.
But the brother sister component, you don't want that to happen. So you need
Right.
to verbalize early on, like you say it and I said no. You don't want family members fall into the pot of possible problematic individuals. Let your
Yeah.
children
Right.
know that. It can be anybody,
Right. And I think when
strangers,
children are
people we
young,
know, family.
yeah, and that brings me to the curiosity piece, which is in chapter 5. Like, there's such a spectrum of like what is normal and what is not
Yes.
normal in like normal child development and curiosity. And it's based in so many things like, the family norms, the cultural norms, traditions, just like level of supervision, all of this. So, yeah, when you're talking
Yes.
about like bath time, I didn't necessarily do bath time separate until I started to feel uncomfortable. Like I would do both the kids in the tub at the same time. But once one of them got to be like, I think 3, I was like, nah, let's just separate it. It's going to be more work for me, but it's starting to feel like awkward. So the
Yes.
minute you start to feel awkward or worrisome at all, or any of the other kids start to feel awkward or say something about it or take note, and maybe there's a curiosity that you're uncomfortable with, then that's when you want to stop with the bath time and the things that are just not super productive to safety. It is fun when you're potty training to have the naked potty training. That's what we did, but like that only takes a week, and you have to watch that child quickly and carefully because otherwise, what's
Yeah.
going to happen.
Because my little guy was out in the backyard.
Yeah, me too.
And we don't want a peeper watching him.
We
But
don't want anybody watching us potty train our children, but
so two
yeah,
other
that's
things that I would talk about, and I don't know if
yeah.
Did Jane talk about pornography?
Because this is for early children,
Oh, okay, got it.
but no, I mean, after our conference today, it's probably something we should talk about. My book is for basically parents with kids 3 to 8.
Oh
So,
yeah, 3 to 8. Yeah, because I mean, was it or Julie said that 4 years old is now when they're saying it starts.
I'm not
3 to 8.
sure. I'm not sure about that, but the average age a kid gets a cell phone is 8,
I
and the
know
average age
it.
a child gets
Yes.
a tablet is like
Yes.
2, right?
And they're seeing pornography in the school day.
Yeah,
So
they
that's
can
when you
bump
don't have
into it.
control. But
Yeah,
Brad Watts says it's overwhelming the number of clients he sees that was a factor.
yeah.
I've had one mom tell me there's the person who caused harm was on pornography 8 hours a day. The child self-disclosed that. And
Okay.
another child was given 50 pornographic videos
Mm.
by an older male thinking it was sex education. So pornography is huge. But I would add, Kimberly,
Yeah,
you must, and this I found out like month before launch when I had that major revelation that sibling harm is emotional, can be
yep.
emotional, physical, or sexual. I think sexual is possibly the last place it goes, and it's just another way to dominate a sibling who you just want to be top dog in the family, and this is how you're going to squash them like a bug.
So what do you recommend for parents to do to
Just
really keep it safe?
you have to be aware that that bullying is not okay. It is not sibling rivalry, and it has a deep-seated ability to wound a child as much as if a parent is unkind or emotionally abusive. And the
Mm-hmm.
sibling relationship is the longest relationship in a life. You
Right.
know your siblings longer than your parents, and longer than your children, and longer than your spouse. So you must pay attention when the verbal abuse starts and say it's not okay. And that's when you start pouring in the language of empathy and compassion and
Yeah.
kindness.
Yeah.
And then that when the fists start to fly, you just have to, how, whatever that looks like. If you're a gentle parent, if you're a conscious parent, whatever that looks like, you need to deal with it. Like, let's use our words, not our fists. Let's talk about what's going on here. Let's do a timeout, whatever that looks like in your
Yeah.
family.
Yeah.
You must handle the emotional abuse and the physical abuse, because you, trust me, you do not want it to go to the next level.
So it builds up if you brush it off.
It,
And I mean,
yes.
how would you, so knowing about your book and you as a survivor, what would you say to like parents to really create an environment at home that is safe? Like what are like three things parents can do to protect their kids from all of this? Just like
Okay. So much of this
tomorrow.
language is yours. If not, I've learned it directly from you. So my one, I think the most important tip is communication,
Okay.
which is daily conversation on all topics. It just builds relational intimacy, which builds trust. So
Yep.
that's one. Just all the talk about all the things all the time. And second, and you and I drive this home a lot,
Yeah.
that list of safe adults has to be in place. We'd love it to be 5. We know that's asking a lot. But
Yeah.
what's crucial, how I'm going to talk about this differently, is that 1 to 2 people on that list must not be family members,
Right.
because we know that at least 30%, probably much more. We learned this week that in certain states it's as high as 60%.
Right.
That you've got to have a non-familial person that you really feel you can trust, that you can say, someone in my own family is harming me. Can you please help me? Will you please
Like,
help
and
me?
that they would believe, right? So if you told your,
Yes.
yeah, if you told your mother, my brother is harming me or hurting me, she might just brush it off or not believe you. So then what does your child do in that
Yeah,
case?
it took me 3 times, and so that's the value of having a deep and rich
Yeah,
list of safe adults. So, yeah, that's why I would really
that's
try to work with your child
that's
to
really
settle
good.
on a list of 5, I'd say more. I hope
Yeah.
you have more,
Yeah, yeah.
people that both of you feel good about.
Perfect.
Because you read the book. I had to disclose 3 times, and I kept going back to my same person, and they kept failing me.
Yeah.
So we want to tell our people, if the first person doesn't get you results
Keep
and people are
going.
busy, just move on to your next person.
That's
And then
really,
the third item that I feel so very strongly about is the pornography piece of the pie,
yeah.
because Brad Watts, who's a nation or a worldwide expert on the topic, says it is a piece of the family environment in a staggering number of cases.
Yes.
Um,
And it seems like every memoir I read, it's definitely involved. And just talking from survivors, I haven't really heard anybody that said it didn't have something to do with it? So it's,
Yeah, so we know kids are looking at it. So this is what I think you have the value of someone's book like Kristen Jensen's,
yes.
which tells you this is what it does to your brain. And it
Yep.
also says, let's talk about a plan if you
Right.
see it.
Make
Like,
a
I think that
plan.
you've got to assume, just because of the statistics, the unfortunate statistics, like 40% of kids see it during the school day. So you've got to assume you need a plan in place, because
Hmm.
I'm sorry, I'm being realistic here. Chances are it's going to happen. So have that plan in place where
Definitely.
they can come to you and say, I don't like this. It's got me worked up. Tell
And
me
they
what to
don't
do more.
understand it too. Like that's one thing I
No.
saw as a kindergarten teacher, is that kids would repeat what they see. So if they see a
Yes.
sexual gesture that they don't understand and they don't even know it's sexual half the time when they're young, like a 5-year-old, they don't know. And they go
Right.
repeat that on their friend, then you've got a
Yes.
situation, right?
Yeah, I've heard of like inflamed kids and they possibly may have issues going on, like literally going up to a teacher and grabbing her breasts or grabbing her buttocks.
That happened to me once.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
had a flashback. Mario.
Flashback is better than a hot flash. Okay.
Yes, it is. I'm about to
This
have one
is
of those
very,
too.
very good. This needs to like become a podcast episode.
Yes. Well, we can multi-purpose.
Yeah.
So my book club usually, the last time I recorded, they were live. So we had some questions in the chat. This is a recording I'm going to post later, but if you do have any questions, you can email me at kimberlykingbooks.com. And if you want to talk specifically about SSA, you can find Diane Tarantini. She's at, what's the, your website is Diane
DianeTarantini.com. Yes, I did a specific
Yeah.
post on sibling sexual abuse.
Recently,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, yeah, within the
Okay.
last month. Yeah.
And where can they find your book and your Instagram and all of that? Where can they buy these books and find you?
Yeah, so this is Everyone Was Silent. It's available on Amazon.com, or if you'd like a signed copy, you can go to DianeTarantini.com and get that.
Perfect.
And then this is The Brave Knight, and the same applies. It's on Amazon.com and also DianeTarantini.com. The really cool thing about this, you can buy this book, or you can get a book bundle for just a couple dollars more that has both Kimberly's book and my book
nice.
with some fun swag like red flags and green flags and dragon stickers. But yeah, Diane Tarantini will get you a lot of places.
And what's
On
the Instagram?
Instagram, I'm Writing Diane T.
Writing Diane. Okay.
And then on
perfect.
Facebook, I've got a lot of people over there. It's Diane Tarantini author.
Okay. And if you have any, do you have any resources, like if a parent is trying to really figure this out, like, and wants a platform or a nonprofit or an organization, do you recommend anybody to them?
Okay, there is a beautiful organization called fivewaves.org.
Okay.
It was founded by 5 women in 5 time zones, 2 survivors, other mothers that are who dealt with it in their own home. So
Okay.
fivewaves.org, and they have so many resources. They're a great place.
All right. Thank you, Diane. And remember to send us your questions, and I will chat with you soon. Have a great day.